Welcome to Goofy Getaways with your hosts, Amy Blades and Amy Fisher.
Welcome to the Goofy Getaways podcast. I'm Amy Blades, founder and CEO, and I am so excited that you are here. This is going to be a really fun part two of some exciting stuff that we did at Epic. But before we get to that, I have to introduce you to my counterpart. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Dom.
Hello, I am the other Amy. I'm our Vice President of Communication and Development here at Goofy Getaways and a travel consultant. We are so excited to have you on this podcast episode. This is part two of our Epic Universe podcast episode. If you don't know, Goofy Getaways is a travel agency. We specialize in lots of different travel destinations, but we are also a U-Preferred Agency, which means we specialize in universal destinations. We love universal destinations, and Universal Orlando Resort has a brand new theme park called Epic Universe. Amy has been a few times already. I am going very, very soon. Probably by the time many of you are seeing this podcast episode, I will be in the park. Very excited for that. And then we also had to bring in another special guest for this podcast episode, somebody who's been in the park multiple times. And maybe you even found Goofy Getaways because of their YouTube channel. But our dear friend, would you like to reintroduce yourself?
Hello, I am Kayla Hemphill, or if you do follow me on social, Kayla and Mark Allen is our handle. But yes, we do Disney stuff and Universal stuff, and I'm excited to talk about Epic because it is like all I can think about right now.
Yeah.
I think that is all we talk about these couple days.
I
don't know. I was excited about the park for sure, but I didn't get really excited about it. Really, really excited until Kayla just kept telling me all of the cool stuff. And then they got to go to a super early preview before we were able to do the preview. And now I can't wait for you to go experience it, Amy, because people probably are tired of Kayla, and that's all we talk about. I swear. So I can't
I
wait.
feel like it's all I talk about, and I haven't even actually
Yeah.
been yet.
And if you were on the first podcast that we talked about Epic, we did talk about Isla Burke, which is a favorite of both Kayla and myself. I'm so excited today, though, to talk about the other three things. The Celestial Park is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a theme park. Ministry of Magic takes me to where I wanted to be in Paris back when. It's just, the theming is beautiful. You can just spend so much time there just looking at everything. And I even think the smells, and that might sound really weird, but I'm telling you, they're pumping some smells in there because it just smells like what I would think of even the floral perfumes. I don't know, I'm telling you. And then of course the Dark Universe, which I was most apprehensive about, but it's so cool and the theming is so cool. So those are the things that we're going to kind of catch you up on.
It's going to be amazing. So quick note, if you have not gone and watched part one or listened to part one where we talked about Super Nintendo World and Isla Burke, make sure you go back and watch those. But as Amy started to talk about, we are going to talk about Celestial Park, Ministry of Magic, and Dark Universe today. And I think we should probably start off by talking about Celestial Park because that's kind of the main central area when people walk into Epic Universe, right? That's what you see first. It's
Absolutely.
When people have seen images of Epic, that's the big part, right? So can you two describe what does it feel like to walk in to Celestial Park? I get goosebumps when I watch videos, so I'm just curious, what does it actually feel like?
No, it's stunning. It's stunning. It's beautiful. And because you're so eager to get into the park, I'm going to tell people, slow down and take in. And it might sound silly, but honestly, it's beautiful. The colors and the greenery and the flowers. And I'm actually going to defer to Kayla to let her talk a little bit more about it because she just does a more eloquent job of talking about it. But I will tell you that it was not something that I was even thinking. I was okay, we're going to walk through and then we're going to get, to the portals. And Mark Allen kept saying to me, isn't this beautiful? And he had been saying it too. Kayla's husband had been saying it for a couple weeks. Wait till you see it. And I kind of thought, okay, seriously, dude, this is just, and it was stunning. It takes some time to walk through it. But Kayla, you can explain, because you explain it much better, but it's just stunning and it's different, I think, than any other park. Tell me if you think I'm wrong.
So Universal's big thing was they wanted to put the park back in theme park. And so there is a huge focus on horticulture in this whole park, really. Like there's really cool plants and flowers and trees in every single land, which when we talk about Dark Universe, there's like a little bit that I want to talk about there because there's some cool stuff happening in that land. But Celestial Park is just, it's beautiful. You don't necessarily feel like you're walking through a theme park. You feel like you're walking through these beautiful, like botanical gardens because there are flowers and plants everywhere. You have these big, beautiful fountains that give a really great kinetic energy to this whole central part. This is essentially Celestial Park is basically your hub of the park. So a lot of the theme parks they kind of work off of that like hub and spoke thing where you have like your main central area. And then you could go off into like the different lands or the different portals in this case. And so they really wanted this to just kind of be a really beautiful centralized area that you can enjoy. And there's benches everywhere and like yeah, like they really want you to this is where you come to vibe. Like this is the land that you come to vibe in. And they did a really good job with that.
And I felt like it made me, I know where you're talking about, like, I get what you're thinking with the vibe because it is a vibe, but I will also say it really made the park come to life for me.
Yeah.
When we talk about, especially the daytime seeing it and the nighttime seeing it are two different feels. However, feeling alive, like even during the day when you walk in and there's something about those fountains. I mean, we spent a lot of time actually taking pictures and just, I love the sound of water anyway. And then at night when everything is so lit up. But yeah, I just felt like for me, it was like, ooh, it just made me even more excited to get to the rest of the park.
And it's not just one fountain. Like you do have, there's like the
Oh,
main big fountain in front of Helios Grand, which is like the hotel. There's the big one, which that's where like when they do like the nighttime fountain show, that's where the majority of it is. But there are other fountains throughout Celestial Park. So you have another one that's next to Constellation Carousel, which is really cool. Because when that nighttime show is happening, like all of the fountains are participating. And so it's kind of cool that you can enjoy that from really anywhere in that land. And then obviously, like when you very, very first walk in and you have the goddess statue, but there's also these beautiful, like little kind of waterfall fountain things kind of there too, which if you dine at the restaurant Atlantic, you overlook that area too. And so I love that it's not just one area of that land, it's the whole land has this beautiful water kinetic energy feel to it.
I think you're eating there. Is that right, Amy?
I am going to be eating at Atlantic. I'm very excited. And that is one of the few restaurants that requires a dining reservation. You can always check for walk up when you get there, but I'm going to be there opening weekend, so I definitely made a reservation because I was like, I'm not playing that game. So if you're planning on going and you want a like table reservation type of a restaurant, Atlantic is one of the few ones, and then the other one is, oh, I'm gonna butcher the name of it. It's like Blue something.
The Blue
It's
Dragon?
like Blue Dragon. Yeah, it's the like Asian style one.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they've actually opened their
No,
reservations at the time
when
that
I
we're
was just
recording
there
this
a couple
podcast
days ago,
episode.
it was still not open when we stayed. Yeah. Um, let's talk about though when we're talking about Celestial Park, it is beautiful, and we're talking about how zen it can feel, or energy, whatever you want it to. But Kayla, we have to talk about the Stardust Racers. Typically, we would even leave this for the like the very end, but since it's part of Celestial Park, this is the coolest, most intense ride I've ever ridden. Amy, you did Velocicoaster with me, and Amy, you and I are so similar on rides. Nadia actually was the one that rode with me, and I didn't. There are things that I like, don't want to give it away, but there are things that I didn't know that happened in the ride, and a lot of times I'll just keep my eyes closed because I'm scared chicken. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this all in. We did it at night. I can do this. And then there are these things that happen, and I'm like, it was the coolest. And you think that you're gonna go fast, and no, it goes even faster. It is, and it's long, not like a super long, but there are other rides where I feel like you're there for like 30 seconds. And I feel like, no, you get like, I found myself literally praying halfway through it, like, Lord, forgive me of my sins because I'm seriously feeling like I might. No, I'm serious. But it was amazing. It was so good though that I did, when Chuck and I were there this week. I said, you've got to do this 'cause I don't like to do those rides, which both of
Yep.
these ladies know. I would do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm very excited.
Okay, so now here's the true question. And I'm actually going to ask both of you. Have you done both tracks? So, people who do not know, Stardust Racers has two tracks. And it's kind of, is it a dueling coaster? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
that that's
So, okay.
like,
So this I think is a good thing to kind of back up just like a little bit and talk about the theming and lore of this land because there is a lot of storytelling that happens in this land. So the whole idea is when you're walking into Celestial Park, you are with the Celestians. So those are like the residents of this land. They're these like otherworldly beings that live in Celestial Park. And Stardust Racers is used so okay, sorry, backing up a little bit. So when you're going through the portals, you have the Kronos Tower, which is the very, very first one when you walk into Epic Universe. The Kronos Tower is what powers the other portals. And so which has to do with like at nighttime, all the lighting effects and things that happen is it's because the Kronos Tower is like drawing power and sending power to these portals and whatever. And so Stardust Racers, the story of that, when you go and you look at the theming of it, it almost looks kind of like a subway, like you're riding the subway a little bit, because that was used to be their mode of transportation to travel to these other worlds. But they found it to be a little like intense. And so they decided, okay, we're not using that to travel to other worlds, but now we're going to use it as transportation within Celestial Park. And so the whole idea of this is that you are getting to ride this like mode of transportation. They've harnessed the power of the comets. And so you're riding a comet. That's the kind of the vibe and like the story of what it is that this ride is. And it does have a dueling aspect. So there is the green track and the yellow track. The yellow track is allegedly less intense. I have done both. So I was
I
talking
did
to
both
somebody.
too.
Yeah. So I was talking to
They
somebody. I
are
was
the
like,
same.
so is it really more intense? So the reason why they say green is a little bit more intense, the iconic like thing of this coaster, it's called the Celestial Spin. It's where both of the tracks
This is the
basically
part where I seriously open my eyes and
yeah.
thighs.
But they go up and they basically like barrel roll around each other.
Hmm.
And so it's
Hmm.
really cool because you kind of ramp up to that and you almost feel like you're going in slow motion. You're not, but like it kind of feels like it.
Hmm. Yep.
Yellow is when they go up, they're going to be right side up first. And then when green goes up, they're going to be upside down first. And so it feels a little like
Mm.
slightly different, which that's the main reason why they
Mm.
say green is a little more intense.
Which is why
Um,
Kayla took me on the green side
because
first.
that's the better one. It is the better one.
I'm finding out tons of things during
Yeah.
these podcast
So
episodes.
some other things too, because like the reason why so the first time we did it, we did yellow, and I think I sat in row like 3. Yellow actually goes slightly ahead of green the whole time. And the cool part about this coaster is being able to look and see the other car like at all times kind of thing. But since you're kind of slightly ahead, you almost like had to crane your neck back, which don't do that on a roller coaster. That's dangerous. But like, especially during that celestial spin, like you couldn't really see the other car as well. So I would say if you're doing yellow, maybe sit further back. They won't always let you request like seats, just FYI, but sometimes you can ask. But I would say be further back on that yellow one so that you can see the other car. But on green, since you're a little further back, you can see them the whole time. But that is one really cool thing. The other really cool thing is that at nighttime, they don't have lights on the track. It's just your car that is lighting because, again, you're riding a comet. So they want it to look like a comet shooting through the night. And so it's really cool. When they were talking about this, I was like, I don't really know how this is going to work because you have all the lights in the park. Like, it's not like you're going to be able to see the track and stuff. they were really smart in where they put this coaster. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't they put it like through the land and all that stuff? I think this is why. It's kind of tucked back in the corner between Isle of Burke and Ministry of Magic. And so there's not really a lot of light pollution back there, at least not as much as that would be in the park. So it really does, like, it's not pitch black, don't get me wrong. But because there's not a ton of lighting back there, it really does give that effect a super cool look when you just see these two cars just like going through. It's really, really cool. Oh, and if you want like a one little like fun fact, if you look at the back of the car, there's a flux capacitor, which is like a nod to Back to the Future.
That's
I didn't
cool.
realize that. I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
look for that next time. Hands
So
down, though, I
you
think like the best ride there. I think best ride at
and you
Universal.
both think like people should for sure ride that. Like we're not saying don't ride it during the day, but it's better.
No,
I
better
think
at
you
night
should do it both. I think you should do both.
because it's a different
Honestly,
experience.
it's very different coaster. And the reason why I say that, they play music. So in your seat, they play music. It's different music during the day than at night. So during the day, it's very
Ooh.
like grand and like whatever. And then at night, you almost get like a little bit more of like this synthy, futuristic kind of vibe. It's cool. It's two very, very different experiences. And I personally say do it twice if you can. And I'm somebody like I have ridden Velocicoaster, but Velocicoaster is a little too intense for me. And I love Stardust. Like I will ride that over and over again. It's so fun. So if you're a little nervous about Velocicoaster, like if Velocicoaster is one that you're kind of like maybe like, I don't know, ride Stardust because I think you would like it a lot better.
It's
I like
awesome.
it a lot
Yeah,
better.
it really is. I liked it. It's super fast, super fun. It was, yeah, I loved it. I really liked it a lot. Did you do the carousel, the Constellation carousel? I didn't get a chance
Before we
to
go to
do
the
that.
carousel, real fast, I want to
Yeah.
make sure that we know on the podcast episode for our listeners that Stardust Racers is the other attraction along with Super Nintendo World that is slated, as long as everything's up and running the way it's supposed to, that is supposed to be open during early entry for resort guests. So if you are a Universal Orlando resort guest or you have the early entry included with your ticket,
And Express
that is the
Pass
other
also. You can use
the
Express
attraction.
Pass on it as well.
Yep, you can express
Because I
on
know
that
there are
as
a
well.
couple
But
things there
yes.
that you can't. So,
Correct.
and I
But
think we talked about those
just so
already.
you know, if you're
Yeah.
going early in the day and you're like, hey, I want to ride it twice, cool. You could ride it as part of your early entry and then go
Yeah.
back later.
And
at
I
night.
think that's smart because everyone's going to be running to Mario. I think that's smart.
So,
Good tip.
okay, let's talk about the
ma'am.
carousel because I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the carousel. I think it looks really pretty.
It's beautiful at night for sure. So this is my honest note about this. Chuck and I did get in line for this, and it was like there was really no line. And to be honest, it was like it took them 10 minutes to figure out how to board people. And I'm like, we got very frustrated and we're like, look, it's the way that if you're going to be on a horse or if you can only sit in one of the, God, what would you call it? Like one of the swans or it's beautiful.
Well,
I hope they can figure out the loading and unloading before a couple weeks because I got frustrated with it.
so a lot of it is the seats that they have, they can fit 1, 2, or 3 people. And so whenever they are like counting out how many people for the next thing, they have like a certain number that they can do in mind. I think that it might be better. I'm hoping that maybe they'll do something where maybe like you stand on a number and then that number correlate. We'll see what happens. But yes, the loading and unloading can take a long time. So just like be aware of that it deceptively can have a little bit of a long line, but it is really cool. So what I love is, like I said, you can have seats of 1, 2, or 3. The ones that have 3, I love. They are kind of more like a big carriage as opposed to sitting on like a traditional like animal. But what's cool is it's like a bench, so your parents can sit there, and then there's an animal in the middle. So your kiddo can still like sit on an animal, but like your whole family, like all 3 of you can ride together, which I think that's really cool. They do also have like accessible cars or carriages. So you can put your wheelchair there. And what's really cool is that traditionally on like a normal carousel, you're going to sit on the bench and like you're not going to like you don't really get the like carousel experience where you're going up and down. With this, you get the exact same experience as all of the regular animals and carriages. Like you go up and down and move exactly the same way. So I love that they do have that feature accessible for people. So that is really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. The other thing that makes this really unique is, again, it's not a normal carousel. It kind of has these like turntables within. So if you're familiar with something like the teacups at Disney, it's kind of the same thing. You're not spinning crazy like that. It's very slow and gentle, but you do operate on these big turntables. If you're someone who gets really motion sick, but you really want to ride this, like you don't love spinning like me, I don't love spinning. If you look at the ground, there's the 3 like middle turntables. Those are the ones that will be like spinning as the ride is going. But then there's also a few animals that are on the outside edge in between. Those will just go in a circle like a normal carousel. So if you are someone who like, you're like, I don't know about that, you can look for those ones and do those curves too. So that is nice.
So try to sit towards the outside edge if you need a little less.
Yes.
Okay. Very nice.
It's really pretty. It's
Mm-hmm.
very pretty. And at night it was beautiful.
There's also 7, I think, different songs. So it'll be a different song every time. There's one, the one that we did was fun because in like halfway through, there's like a record scratch and then the whole thing goes backwards. It's kind of cool. It's fun. So if you want, that's another one. Like if carousels are your thing, like it'd be fun to ride it multiple times because you get different songs and they do slightly different things depending on the song.
You're not my thing.
Wow.
But Kayla liked it.
I mean, I don't,
Nadia
I'll be
liked it a lot,
honest.
too.
I'll be honest, for me personally, it's a one and done, but that's just because it's not my thing. But I do see like it is really cool.
It's pretty. It's pretty. And then the other thing that they have is the little play area for kids. Is it Astrom? How do you say it?
Astronomica.
Astronomica. There we go.
Yeah, it's basically just a splash pad. I have not seen it open yet, personally. It might be open now. I'm not sure, but basically
open Monday.
it's just a splash pad. Just like, yeah, it's kind of your normal splash pad. So if you just want a little place for
kids.
your little kiddos to go cool off in some water,
Cool down.
it's a good
Yeah,
place
but
to
it's
do
cute. I was glad that they incorporated it for little ones, especially because I do feel like in time the park isn't gonna. I think with the trees and there's still things. There's so much growth still to be had. Right now, though, I do feel like it's a warm park, so I'm kind of glad that they have that for little ones. Shoot, I mean, I could find myself walking through there possibly. But
Right. I was like, no judgment. I've definitely walked through those
heck
splash
yeah.
pads on a hot day.
I'm like, if it's a hot day, I mean, we were so hot, and we talked about that before. We did that water ride in Isle of Burke, and we were drenched, but we were definitely cooled us off. But our favorite thing to talk about, Kayla, is food. So we should
this
talk about
land
the
had
food.
some of the best
This
food.
food has, yes, I would agree. How about I'll let you talk about Pizza Moon because you have even a little more like nostalgia to it with the movie and such, and you just do a better job. So you talk about that, and then I'll talk about the actual pizza because it was delicious.
Yeah. So Pizza Moon is, you guessed it, a pizza restaurant. But this is not your average pizza restaurant. Okay, so a little bit of story time, and then I'll tell you why it actually corroborates. So, we walked in, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool!" Because you have these big, beautiful, like colorful. The best way I can describe it is like cardboard cutouts, but they move. And like when I was seeing it, I was like, "This reminds me of the movie Hugo." And this is like super niche kind of thing. If you've seen this movie, because in the movie, I was like, in the movie, I haven't seen this in years, but like, I know that there was a part where there was this actress and she was doing something. There was this big moon cardboard cutout thing, and they were making this movie and whatever. And I was like, it reminds me of that. The whole restaurant reminds me of that. So I Googled it later. Come to find out, I was actually right, and I didn't even know it. So in that movie Hugo, they kind of make reference to the 1902 film A Trip to the Moon, and which is a real film, and it is actually what this restaurant is based off of. So it's it's a really cool nod to early like cinema history, which because this is a universal park, like and film like is what I just thought that that is so cool. And me and my husband we found it streaming, and so we watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, it really does, like they have a lot of the same kind of artwork from that short film in this restaurant, and it's so cool like when you learn that. And it's just beautiful to look at even if you don't have any clue, like I said, like I didn't realize that that was a real film. I was just like, it reminded me of this thing. It's really cool. They have tons of seating. I think they even had a little bit of outdoor seating too. So like that's a really good one on a busier day. That'll be a good one to go to. And I'll let Amy
And
talk
then
about
just
pizza,
another,
but
yeah, but then a reminder too is just a reminder that the way Universal does their quick serve is different and that you're going to wait in line and that like you can order your food ahead of time. You can even click on here, but you can't technically get your here until you put your table number in. And there is a little bit of a line. It did move pretty fast, but I've gone there a couple times now and there is a line. So just remember that. I like it personally because then I feel like I know that I'm going to be able to sit down with my food. And you can actually take in while you're waiting, you can take in the entire restaurant because it is absolutely beautiful. Did you want to say something about that
so
before food?
my biggest tip is try and eat during off times. Because I know depending on the time of day that you go, like if you go during noon when it's peak lunchtime, you're probably gonna be waiting for a table for a little bit. But if you go at like, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, there's probably not gonna be like I know when we did it kind of mid-afternoon, there was nobody in there. So we got it. And that's kind of the case with a lot of these different restaurants. But one of the cool things about the Celestial Park restaurants is you can get a special exclusive soda that you can only get at these restaurants. It's called the Celestial Spritz. And it's kind of like a citrusy, grapefruity flavored soda. It is sweet. It's sweet. Like when you say grapefruit and you think, oh, that's going to be really, it's very sweet for like a grapefruit flavor. We add like a little bit of Sprite to it. Just gives it like a little bit of something, but I liked it.
That did make it
Amy did
better,
not
adding the
like it,
Sprite.
but we loved it. But it's fun because you can
Nope.
only get it in these lands. So anyways, you should
Let's
talk
talk
about
about the
pizza now
pizza.
because the pizza's
Oh
Yep.
my
really good.
goodness. The
I'm like, my mouth is already
pizza,
watering.
it's delicious. It is not like your normal theme park pizza. I mean, it's much better than that. Um, let's see, Nadia and I got the one with I'm gonna say it wrong, but like the basil,
The
tomato, the
margarita.
cheese. Thank you. See, that's all you have to say. And there you go,
Margarita.
the margarita. And it was delicious. And then when Chuck and I were there, he just got a pepperoni pizza. And he doesn't really like theme park food. He thought the food was really good. They have a really decent size variety for being a theme park with it not just being like a cheese pizza or a pepperoni pizza. They've got some
Mhm.
like some wild some wild ones. Like there's
Well, we
the
got
space
one.
cowboy. Did you do the
Yeah.
space cowboy
No,
with the
we got
barbecue?
no, we got the one that was it was like mushroom and garlic. You gotta like mushroom and
Yes.
garlic, but it had more of uh like a creme fraiche or bechamel or something. Like it was like some it wasn't like a normal cheese. But it was
Mm,
lots of garlic, lots of mushroom. If you love that, we love that. It was amazing. But they
it
do
was
have
really good.
one that's really special. I can't remember what it's called, but next time I go, I want to try it. It has an ube crust. Um,
Mm.
I don't know what ube is. It's purple. That's all I
I
know.
was just gonna
And
say to
it's
you,
been in a
well,
lot of
what is ube?
I've seen it in a lot of like theme park foods lately. Like there's been a lot of places that have had ube and it's like a thing right now, I guess. But it looks really cool and I can't remember what's on the pizza itself, but I know that it has like something garlicky and I'm always a fan of garlicky anything. But I love that
And yeah,
you do have like your margarita and your pepperonis for people who like something a little more basic, but they do also have those really adventurous, over the top type pizzas too. But they're all really good. It's like wood fired. There's a big spaceship, like a rocket that like crash landed, which again, if you've seen the 1902 film, like it looks exactly like that. It's so cool, but that's the pizza oven. So cool. I'm
I was trying
obsessed.
to cheat a little bit and looking at my Universal app just to see if I could pull up the menu And of course, it's not giving it to me. I was going to help you out with what the name of that was,
It's like,
but
I don't think they've fully loaded menus in the app just
no,
yet.
Right
I
now
know
for
that
not
work.
yet.
reviews, they've still been changing everything, so I don't think that they've been
Mhm.
releasing it unless you're like in the park. But they do
But
also
it
have a
was
really
delicious, I
amazing
can say.
dessert, which if you
Oh,
are not a
yes.
pizza fan, I still think you need to come here and get this dessert. It's
The
like a brownie
brownie and
pie cookie thing. So it's
marshmallows.
literally
Mm.
a brownie the size of my face,
Hmm.
covered in toasted marshmallows, Nutella, and Oreo crumbles. And it's ooey gooey, melty, warm. Like it's definitely shareable because
Deliciousness.
it's big, but oh my gosh, this was probably like one of my favorite desserts I think I've had in the park. Like it's so good, especially if you're a chocolate lover. Like
Oh,
amazing, amazing.
delicious. I
Hmm.
agree. Yeah,
But
I will
then
say when you're save room for dessert, even if you're not someone that does dessert every time, especially at theme park, because they're all themed for the restaurants. So they're all different desserts and I mean, we did have an opportunity I mean, we had to test them so we could tell everybody if they were
It's
good or
the
not.
tough things that we
So
do for
yeah,
our
I mean, we
clients, you
left
know.
some for you, Amy. We left some for you to try. But yeah.
well, and the
Don't
other
worry,
place that
I'll
we
get to it.
tried that we really loved was
Oh,
Oaken Star
was
Tavern. This is a barbecue
yes.
restaurant, but it's so cute in there. It's almost like a woodland forest theme.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Okay.
know it sounds,
No,
but
but
like
it's
it's
cute,
really
and the
cool.
food was so good.
So they have like a bar in there. It's called
The plastered owl.
Plastered Owl. Thank you. That's what it's called. That's the
Yes,
That's a
one.
great
I was
name
you're
for
like,
a
gonna
oh,
have.
bar.
the names. I should have looked up everything, but yes. But they have that, and then the restaurant itself, it's just like you have all these cool like tree woodland theme. They have this beautiful stained glass for no reason
Yes,
that I
I would
just
agree.
like love. It's so pretty, but the food is so good. Like the barbecue, like, okay, so I'm from the Midwest, so I'm a Kansas City barbecue girl. So, like, I do know good barbecue, and finding good barbecue here in Florida is like a thing. This was really good. It was very good. It was very well done. They had really good sauces. Like they had a good variety of sauces that had very different flavors. So you got a little bit of something for everybody, but like the meats were cooked really well. They like super slow cook all of their meats. And their sides are so good too. We
The
got
sides are
these
what kind of got us. Oh,
we got this mac and cheese that was like the most ooey gooeyest mac and cheese. There
mhm.
were house-made
The
pickles. Their
beans,
beans were really good.
and I'm not. I love baked beans, but eating
Hmm.
them out sometimes I don't like. They were delicious. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like you were at a barbecue, like a real
Hmm.
Southern barbecue. And the bread, what was it? Do they call it
So
mango
yeah,
bread?
there was two different types of bread we got. We got the mango bread, which was like a little baby loaf of
Yeah,
it's kind of like a sweeter. I mean, it's
it was
exactly what you
really
think it would
good.
be. And I think it came with like a honey, like a citrus honey butter or something like that.
Hmm.
And then we also got smoked cheddar biscuits, which I really loved. When they brought them
With
to the
the
table, I was
jam,
like, huh, those look interesting. But when you try them, like they really have a smoky cheddar flavor. And
and
I
they
was
like
like,
melt
oh,
in your
these
mouth.
are these are bomb. These are so good. I was really impressed. Because I'm not like, okay, it's really funny. So my husband, Mark Allen, he is a barbecue guy. Like he loves barbecue. That's his favorite thing. I like barbecue, but I'm not like going out of my way to get barbecue. But I loved this place. I was like, this is great. So I had very low expectations. I
Hmm.
was like, wow, okay, I would eat here again. This is really nice. You can also get your celestial spritz here too.
Yes, you can.
Mhm.
Or
Amy
not.
Amy Blades will not be getting it, but I will.
Or the hint for everybody, do it with a splash of Sprite, apparently.
Yes, yes.
Mm,
And
that'll
then
help.
desserts there.
Oh yeah,
Did we get it?
we got a banana pudding, which okay, I am a
Yes.
banana pudding. That banana pudding like my favorite dessert on the planet. So then
And
we got this
it lived
huge
up to
one.
yeah, it was really, really good.
You could tell a lot of the whipped cream was like it tasted like a homemade whipped cream, not like
Yes.
Cool Whip from a
Yes.
can.
Cheap.
Like
Cool.
it
Hmm.
was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. I think those are the only two places that I ate, but there are other
The ice
restaurants.
cream.
Yeah.
Did you get ice cream at the Frosty, or what's it called? The
No,
Frosty
I
Moon?
have to go back because I did not get my Frosty Moon ice
Oh
cream.
yeah. And this is one of the only times I ever saw Kayla like
I got
maybe have a
mad. I was
little
sad.
temper
I really
tantrum.
wanted my ice cream. So they do
She
have
really
Frosty Moon,
did.
but they're really cool. I don't know a ton about it yet because I haven't been, but they have all these really fun ice creams. They got all these cute little sprinkles, like you can get little stars, and they have little like cheesecake bites. And I think I even sent Amy Fisher a video of this like cookie. She's like, I'm not eating that. That's too much. But it's like this big sugar cookie and it has like the little like Lucky Charms, like Lucky Charm marshmallows. I don't know.
As
It's very
somebody who
fun.
really enjoys sugar, I looked at that and I was like, that might be a little
Hmm.
much for like to eat by yourself on a theme park day, right? If
Yes.
I was with a group of people, I'd be like, sure,
Everyone
we can
take a
each
little
take a little
bite.
bite, but
Yeah, that's all I want. Like I just want a little taste. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun when
yeah,
we're as some of us are a group again to be
Yeah.
able to kind of hit
yeah.
those things that we
Yes.
didn't hit and try them for
They
sure.
also have uh I think it's called Astropub. It's the burger place. So they have
Yeah.
they have a lot of
Yeah.
burgers.
Yep.
That one's actually
The
nice
meteor
because
astropub.
they have out like they have the normal where you go sit at a table and order your food and they have that, but they also have a like a pickup window that you can get your food and go to. So that is nice that they have that option. Then there's a few other like little ones. There's one place that
How do you
sells
say the
hot
star?
dogs.
The Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go with those bao buns,
Yeah,
but
so there's
go
the
ahead.
hot dog place and the bao bun place. The hot dog place is very interesting. I've been hearing everyone talk about about this.
Kind of weird hot
Well,
dogs, but
The
it's
roasted
a
carrot.
roasted carrot in a purple ube. I think it's a purple ube bun.
It's an ube bun,
Yeah, I'll
and
be honest,
it's
no one
it's
said
vegan.
anything
So
good
if
about
you
it, but
okay, the I have seen somebody who like does like very specific vegan food at Universal that they keep saying it's like not they're not like it's so amazing, but they're like it's good and it's nice that it's a like truly vegan option without them having to modify anything.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yes, it's interesting. And they also have bao buns that are like purple or black or I don't know. It's very interesting.
it
It's
is
very
interesting.
celestial, I guess.
Yeah.
This park has a lot of more adventurous food, which
Themed
me,
foods and themed to like yeah. When you say though, like the themed to those things, yeah.
I'm all about the like the themed and adventurous flavors and food. Um, but I do appreciate that they are also like bringing in more of like the safe stuff for like picky eaters too. So don't like freak out.
I am
Right
too.
now
I
during
am too.
previews, they're really encouraging people to eat the adventurous food because they want to see what's popular and what they want to keep on the menus. Which is why you're not going to be hearing a ton about like chicken tenders and things like that yet. They will have those. I don't think that they're not going to just like not have that. They've even started to add it to some of the menus. It's just right now during previews, they're like, we need to see what of the weird stuff people like to eat.
And what actually
yep.
tastes good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we can kind of transition. I mean, well, if kind of to the next, I would say to the next land
Let's start. I
portal,
was like,
but
let's transition to Dark Universe a little bit then. Like, I just really feel like they're out of this world with the theming of everything, but especially the
oh, the
food.
food.
Like,
And I think it was Lauren, one of the agents, and she had posted a picture of the chicken sandwich with the black bun. And I'm like, oh, that looks so gross. But of course, when we went, I said to my husband, I think we need to try that. He was not a fan. I liked it very much. I thought it had good flavor. I liked the sandwich. I just loved the theming of the entire world. It is incredible. I mean, Amy, you know this. I don't like the scary stuff, but I will say this is so cool, and especially at night. But talking about this sandwich and the food, when you go to the restaurant and just the theming of the restaurant, it's got like the red lights and they're kind of dim and it's just kind of dark and mysterious, scary, weird, like Chuck was not all in on that restaurant, I will say. But I was all in. Just is it the Burning Blade Tavern? Is that
Burning
the one
Blade
that it
Tavern.
was, right? Burning. Okay. I thought it was really cool. I liked the theming. I liked the food. I wish that I would have written down um, just to be able to talk a little more fluid about what each of the things you could get were, and I didn't because there were definitely more things on the menu. But I just liked the kind of out of box thinking and just the whole ambiance and the feel of the whole thing. Um, did you guys get anything in Dark Universe, Kayla, when you guys
Nope.
went?
I think you guys went to Das Steakhouse. So Das Steakhouse is the restaurant. Burning Blade
That
Tavern
is
is the bar. They do have
yes,
some
yes,
like little like bar food like appetizer type things,
yes.
but Das Steakhouse is like the main
There you go.
restaurant.
See, I'm trying to. Okay, there we go.
We did
And
not,
it's
we
because the
wanted
burning
to
blade is
get,
the one where the windmill thing, like
mhm,
that's exactly yeah. And
yeah.
that is we did walk through, like near there to look at it, but that you're right, that isn't where we ate. But I do have to say also when we talk about desserts, we had like the coffin chocolate deliciousness cake. It had like some raspberries in it and like a white frosting, but it was different and it was delicious. So if you go back, even if you just get the coffin cake, it was really good.
We want to go back and
Mm.
get the garlic pretzel. Like there's a,
So
it's a garlic steak, like
I was like,
a
I want the
steak.
garlic pretzel. And then I've heard great reviews. They look
The
disgusting.
cinnamon
They're the
things.
little, no, they're
Oh,
the little black, like
the
cheese ball
cheese curd things.
things.
I've heard they're like jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be kind of like a jalapeno popper with like a sriracha sauce or something like that. They look like lumps of coal. Um, they look disgusting, but like every Universal food blogger that I follow, that's like one of the top things that they're putting on their list in the entire park. Like not just in that area, in the entire park. And I'm like,
Really? You'll have to try
so
those
friends, when
and
I
report
go, I
back.
will try them for you and report back and let you know. Because Amy Blades doesn't do spicy. So like that one is not going to be on her list. I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to spices. Like I'm a very white person, let's be transparent. So like I can only handle so much spice, but I do like good flavor, so we'll see.
I like
We'll see
spicy.
how it goes.
I do love
Kayla
spicy.
Kayla can handle spicy, but I no. So we'll see how it goes, but like that's like on the top of my list to try when I go.
the food
For
is
sure.
really good. You'll like the whole. It's a smaller land portal, whatever we're calling it again. You can tell me 10 times, I'm going to say it the wrong way. And but it's really really cool. Definitely check out the bathrooms. We talked about that last podcast because they're all themed and they're super cool. But we have to talk about the monster ride.
Oh my gosh. So the Monsters Unchained is probably
This
my favorite ride in the park.
is so
I
cool.
was very nervous about this land. I was so nervous because I like HHN Halloween Horror Nights, which is Universal's like Halloween like haunted house event. I like that. I like scary movies, but I'm not a huge horror person. Like I don't enjoy being scared. And so I was very nervous to see how they would do this land because I was like, it's either going to be really scary or not really scary. And I'm hoping it's not really scary. It's not really scary. They did the perfect amount of like creepy and spooky without being terrifying. Now, if you have really little kids, there are going to be areas of this land that they may not love, but it's not in your face. It's more like things that are tucked back in the restaurants or tucked back in the bar.
Yeah,
Monsters Unchained is
is so cool.
another one. I was
It,
so scared, but like it really is not scary. It's not scary. It's very cool. The best way I can describe it,
it's a
you
little
feel
scary.
well ish.
It's
Again, like if
not.
you have little kids who don't love
Yes,
monsters, then yes, it's
Kayla, I
probably going
had
to
to
be
close
frightening,
my eyes.
ma'am.
Amy, we close our eyes on a lot of rides. So I don't know that that's a good like
I was worried things would be like swiping at your face and like be really
Yeah,
close to you and things would be
yeah,
really it's not. It like the closest
it's
anything gets to
cool.
you is like maybe 8 feet away. Um the queue is scarier than the ride. It feels like you're in the best way I
But
can
it's
describe
so
it is you feel
cool.
like you're in a monster video game. That's
Yes.
very much the vibe of this attraction.
But
in
it's
like the
beautiful.
best
Like it's
way.
lit up too. Like when you think of like the ceilings
Hmm.
and the way they have the light, like it's the electricity going through the entire queue. Like in
Yeah.
it, the queue when you go up the stairs. Oh, it is. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
So the story of this one is Victoria Frankenstein is she lives in Frankenstein Manor. She's been doing experiments, and she basically sucks all the power out of the land. So there is a really cool effect that if you can see it at night, it's really cool, but if you can see it during the day, it's still pretty cool. But the whole land will go like whoa, 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 and all the lights flicker, and you see the electricity crackling on the top of Frankenstein Manor. Super cool. Very cool effect. But you also see that effect happen like in the queue. Because again, she's sucking in all that power for her experiments. And um, the whole story of the ride itself is that she has been working on all these experiments, but her biggest one is that she's able to like control Dracula, who is like the ultimate monster. Um, and he escapes. He escapes and is causing chaos. And so that's kind of what's happening in this ride is Dracula has escaped and you're helping to kind of like, capture him again. But there are animatronics galore in this attraction. Like there's so many, and they're not just like little ones that just like move. No, they're huge, fully articulated, life size. Like if you told me they were real people, I would probably
I would agree,
believe you.
especially like in especially Frankenstein in the
Yes.
beginning, and but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they are scattered throughout, and it does a really good job. And I get dizzy on some of those rides. I have to be really careful. And this I loved because the screen, because it's a mix. It is a ride. You are going through and you are moving in a ride. There are the animatronics, but then there are also screens, and the screens are huge. And I think that makes it, they're not small. Like you
Well,
feel like it's the length of, I mean, I liked it.
and
I
it's
thought it was
almost
really
more
cool.
like they're meant to add some depth to the sets.
Yeah,
There's a lot, it's mostly practical sets, which is like real 3D sets, with a little bit of the screen to kind of just add some depth or add some additional motion. Um, this is a huge, 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 huge tip. You're gonna go into the queue of this ride and you're gonna get to the pre-show, the first pre-show. This is probably the quote unquote scariest part of the ride, because you have Igor who's like all twitchy and like doing whatever, and there's a model of the ride attraction, which is it's called a Kuka arm, which is basically it's literally exactly what it sounds. So it's like a ride system like this, and it's like you're little people and you go like this. Well, the model will literally it's like flapping all around like crazy. And you're going to see that and you're going to be like, absolutely not. It does not do that, not even a little bit. The movements are much more gentle, like way more gentle, more smooth. So, like when you go in that pre show and you see that, do not freak out. That is 0% what the ride is actually like. And I had a
Okay,
friend,
good note.
the
Good
first
note.
time we did it, my friend told me that. She's like, don't pay attention to that. And I was so glad she did because I totally would have pieced
I
out.
would have walked out. If you weren't
Um,
with me, I would have walked out because I would have
yeah.
thought that it was, yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
it's really not. It's I cannot do Forbidden Journey, which is the same type
I
of ride
can't
system as
either.
this. I cannot do this. I cannot do that ride, but I love Monsters. It's much more gentle. It's a lot less screens. Like there are screens, but they're not like you're not watching a screen the whole time. Like it's,
Mm.
Yeah.
you know, like you have the
Yep.
animatronic and then you've got like some background of screen to just kind of add that effect. But
Yeah.
oh
I'm
my God,
excited for you
it's
to be able to do it, Amy,
amazing.
because it is the theming. The theming, it goes back to every single time. The theming. I've not been a super fan of Universal's earlier rides, like Hagrid's. I really like. It's like the newer rides, but a lot of the rides where it's just the simulation stuff makes me super nauseous. And I love that in this new park, it's definitely different. It's like the newer stuff, and yeah, it was really cool. Just take your time to go through these queues because there's so much detail in the queues for sure.
Yeah, this one in particular is really cool. It's kind of like you're walking through a very, very toned down Halloween Horror Nights house. Like very
I would
toned down.
agree.
Nothing's gonna
Yeah.
pop out at you.
Mm-mm.
Like again, like it's not like that, but it's just like the really cool theming reminds me a lot of the really cool stuff that they do at HHN. Just like very, I would say more of like PG, maybe PG-13, like
Yeah, and I
not
think it
quite
was kind
so
of cool. Like,
scary.
um, and Kayla and I have actually talked about this quite a bit. The character interactions, they have brought that back. Kind of when Kayla was saying earlier how they're trying to bring the park back to theme park. And I know Universal is an entertainment company. I I was just mesmerized and kind of astonished at all of the different character highlights that they have throughout the entire park in the portals, but specifically in the Dark Universe. I'm sure that there will be other characters to come, but the Invisible Man was out and about. And he's just amazing the way that he interacts with guests. And then there's a fiddle player that tells this story. And it's just kind of mesmerizing. And then
I really want to meet
it's
Igor.
Igor, right? Igor, I
Oh,
do too. And we walked past him on Monday, and I wanted to get in line, but we were like, we were actually headed to try to get to the Monsters ride. That is one that I want because he was interacting, and he has this cart, and he just
he's
the
so
way that
funny.
they have put like excitement. And I think you've heard me say it's the reality, the realisticness. Like you're making you feel like it's all right there in front of you, and that's what they have done in this park better than any park. Truly, it's just so mesmerizing because you really feel like you're part of it. This has been my experience so far.
Well, and
So,
honestly, I've always felt like Universal's live entertainment is top notch. Like I
mhm,
I always feel
mhm.
like of anywhere I've ever been, like Universal's entertainment is my favorite part about Universal. Like they just always do such a good job, whether it's a show or characters or any of those kinds of things. Like they do such a good job with it.
Yeah, they are
Um,
definitely an entertainment business, and they
mhm,
really, you can tell that there was a lot of thought that went into every single crevice of this park.
100%.
Is that it with Dark
There's one
Universe? I'm
other
trying to think.
ride
Yep, we need to talk about
which
Curse of the
Oh, how can they
Werewolf.
not talk
I
about? So I did this right.
I
Oh,
will
you did?
not.
Okay.
I will never
Amy,
do that ride.
Amy,
It's
I won't do it again.
I
I
won't
won't
ever
do it
write it.
again.
I'm going to be super
Okay,
transparent.
no.
but I'm going to tell you, it was only, I think and Chuck was so ticked off because I think it's maybe 30 seconds. It's
I
got
was
to
like,
be a
it's a
little
short
longer,
ride, right?
but it's so short. But in that short time, it is so intense. Intense. Freaked me the flippity flap out. That's all I can say. It freaked me out, but I did it. And the theming again was so cool, but there are some fast turns and spins and frontwards and backwards and every which way, but it's so short. Universal, hear me out. Hear me out. They have got to make that a little bit longer because
No.
especially the wait time for that ride, it needs to be a little bit longer.
Here's the
But
thing though, is if they made that wrong longer, you're gonna have people throwing up all over the place. So this is a coaster. It spins. You have a free spinning car, and each car spins
my car did
independently.
not spin. I'm telling you.
Here's the thing though. It depends on what the weight distribution is in your car because some people are going to go and have a very mild spinning experience. Some people are going to go and they're going to have an incredibly intense spinning experience and there's no way to control what that's going to be.
Okay,
So,
then that's a good thing that I did
that's
it
why
and
I
I will
was
not
like,
do it
I
again.
don't think that they could make that longer because I think that, especially if you
If
happen to
you're
be in a car that's
spinning.
spinning, because I have seen videos where people are
Fair.
Yeah.
spinning the whole
That's fair.
time.
That's why I'm like, I
No,
won't even risk it because if it's
mm,
spinning like that, I'm out.
no, even if
And
it's,
I think
I'm
where
just
Chuck and I
like,
got lucky is it
yeah,
was just the two of us because you
hmm
sit, there's four, but you sit,
yep,
kind of back, and it was just the two of us in there. So maybe
yeah.
that made a huge difference because
If you're someone
if
who
it would have spun,
loves
I would have been,
Yeah, if you're someone
yeah,
who
done for
loves
the
high
day.
thrill and you like things that spin and oh my gosh, it looks like a super fun, cool coaster. We all know I hate spinning. I hate spinning rides. Like it's just not my thing and I will not do it. Even though it looks really cool and like I kind of want to because it looks cool, not happening.
But yeah, definitely, because there are so many other things to do at Epic, and it does seem like that's the smaller of the all of the portals. Don't miss it. Still take time to go through it because of the level of detail. And you're definitely going to want to see it at night. And that was another tip that Kayla and Mark Allen gave us, because I probably wouldn't have walked through there again, just because we actually hit that first.
I wouldn't necessarily say you have to save that land to do at night, especially like right now during the summer. It doesn't get dark until close to park close. But if near park close, you can go and at least just take a minute to go walk through it at night when you can see the electricity through the whole land going whoa, whoa, whoa. It's so cool. It's really cool. I do encourage like at least to go check it out at night. Very, very cool.
Okay, anything else we need to know about Dark Universe? Or is it time?
I think it's time to talk about Ministry of Magic.
Ministry of Magic
For all
time.
our Harry Potter
There's
fans.
so much.
Yes. So this is the new Harry Potter world, and it is based off of, for people who are not aware, it is based off of more of like the Fantastic Beast franchise. It is set in like 1920s Paris, if I'm remembering correctly. And it
20s,
like
40s?
It looks massive.
It's huge.
It's beautiful.
So to put it in perspective, the shortest building in this land is taller than the tallest building in Diagon Alley. And the walkways are also like 3 times as wide.
Thank goodness, because that's my biggest complaint with the current Wizarding Worlds is that the walkways are fairly narrow, which makes them feel very crowded. So I love hearing that they gave us a little more space.
Yeah, there's very few places in this park that you feel bottlenecks. Like you really like all of the walkways and all the lands. They did a good job of making them very wide. This is actually a land that I recommend when it's like really hot and sunny. Because the buildings are so tall, you naturally get just like a little bit more shade in that area. So I kind of like doing this one like mid-afternoon when it is really hot, because you have a lot of places you can kind of duck in, get some AC, but also like a lot of the stuff is in shade. So I appreciate that. This land is very interesting because it's so grand and it's so detailed, but I actually feel like this land doesn't have as many things to do in it as the other ones, unless you have a wand. A huge part of this land is the interactive spells. There are tons of them, tons and tons and tons of them. And like there's lots of like little creatures that will interact and stuff. And so this is one that,
or as they're walking around.
yeah, like I would say if you can at least have one person in your party that can have a wand, I think you're going to get a lot more out of this land than if you don't. Now they do have some.
Even I got a wand, and I even did a spell, and it worked. I mean, Mark Allen just had to help me.
I like that she has to add that it worked.
Because normally when I do my spells, they don't work, but it worked. So I can't wait to go back again and use it more. And I have a beautiful wand, just by the way.
So proud of you and your
thank you. Because normally I'm really crappy at those things, and I loved it.
Which they do have exclusive wands to this land. You can get them at a shop called Cosme Acajur. Cosme is the owner of Cosme Acajur, and things work a little bit differently than your normal Harry Potter lands. In Ollivanders, the wand chooses the wizard, but in Paris, you get to choose your wand because every wand is unique and every person is unique and likes particular things. And so Cosme herself will actually come in and walk around the shop, and she will sell wands to you. It's super fun if you can catch her. Amazing. Mark Allen got to have a little experience with her when we bought his wand, and he was like almost in tears, which is it was so cute. He was so excited. It was so cute. But it was very cool. And the wands are very opulent. Like they're just very, very beautiful. I'm gonna slide back because I'm gonna grab Mark Allen's wand right here. So
for those of you that are watching on our YouTube channel, Kayla is showing us Mark Allen's.
So this is Mark Allen's wand. This is the vine ivy. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it's twisty. It's very cool, but you can like they're very beautiful.
If the packaging too. Like I'm grabbing my packaging because the packaging is beautiful. My wand is actually in my bag ready because I'm going to Epic again and I have it up there, but the the packaging is stunning too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And in
it's
your package,
beautiful.
they'll have like a map of the different locations, right? So that you can
Hmm.
know where to go to find your different spell
Yes.
spots. And
Now, another really kind of important thing to know if you are someone who likes to do the spells, if you're kind of like really into that, the ones that are exclusive to that land are Generation 1 wands. They are not the Generation 2 wands, which are like the Generation 2, they just came out with those not too long ago. There's only 4 of them out right now. They have the same ones at Epic as they do as the other parks. Those ones have haptic, so like they vibrate and light up, and there are certain spells that you can only do with those wands. Um, so just as a heads up, like if you're kind of doing that, like you can still do almost all of the spells and stuff. Your wand's just not necessarily gonna light up, or your spell might look a little bit different than someone who has the Gen 2 wands. So just FYI, that is a thing. We asked the team members because I was like, okay, hold on, explain this to me. So I heard that they might be having a special Gen 2 wand that's going to come out for the opening of Epic that will be exclusive to that. You didn't hear that from me though.
Just
And a
maybe heard
note,
it.
if you're somebody who also has a wand from before, you can still use your
Yes.
older. So, like, I have an older wand that I just love. So, like, you can still absolutely use that wand. But, like Kayla was saying, it just might not do all the same things or like showcase the spell in the same way. So, just bear that in mind. But you can still, we do recommend trying to have someone in your party have an interactive wand because that's a
It
big
will make
part
that park a little,
of that
it will
that
make it a
section.
little better. Yeah. They
Because you have
do
the interactive
have,
spot, they have the show. Did
which
either of
I
you
want to
get
talk about.
to see
I
the
loved the
show?
Show is
show.
so
Okay.
cool.
It is, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. Immersive. Again, there's
Yeah.
the immersive word. It is, and it's like a 1920s kind of like vaudeville type thing, but then it turns into something much bigger and cooler
Yes.
and amazing. And yeah,
This land is themed off of specifically the second movie, so you don't necessarily have to watch all the Fantastic Beasts movies, but I would say at least watch the first two because the Paris stuff and the circus stuff happens in the second movie. And I think you'll kind of catch a little bit more because there's the creatures that are in this show are like showcased in that second movie a lot. Um, the other thing, like the way that this is set up is you walk in and you see this big circus tent. It doesn't look super big, but then you go in and you have room after room after room of queue, and everyone is so highly themed. Like it's really cool. Um, like it's just really cool because it just keeps going, and you're like, whoa, I didn't realize it was this big. And then you get corralled into this one big room where the pre-show starts, which the pre-show itself is already mind-blowing. I'm not going to spoil this show because it's honestly one of those that it's like it's better if you don't know the spoilers, but there is like a part that like an effect starts to happen and everyone's like, whoa, and then it keeps happening and everyone's like, whoa, like how is this happening right now? Like it really feels like magic. And then once the pre-show's done, then you go into the big theater, and the beginning of it reminds me, okay, so last year, 2024, Halloween Horror Nights Nightmare Fuel was circus themed, and it had that kind of like creepy like Coney Island type of circus feel. Not risque. The show is not risque at all, but it has a little bit of that vibe that reminded me of that. It was very cool. And then it kind of just like, and then it just kind of like rose into this whole thing of this whole story with the creatures, and like it's one of those shows that you're gonna watch, you're gonna be like, how on earth did they do that? Like the puppetry and the effects, and it's really, really cool. So
hmm
that's one.
it is worth it. It is worth trying to get in to see that show. And they run it, I think, 5 or 6 times.
It'll
Probably
probably change.
depends. It'll
So,
probably change.
yeah, I know originally their intent was that this would be a continuously running show, which is why the queue for it is so big. Because you would essentially have a wait time as opposed to a show time. I don't know if this is what will actually end up happening since it's such a technically advanced show. But there are like the show times out front. It'll say like what the show times are, but
Yeah.
it's very cool.
No, I was really, really glad that we did that because if you don't have the wand and you do not get in the queue, which we will talk about in just a minute for the ministry ride, then there is not a lot to do. I mean, you can do like some shopping, you can definitely do some eating, but you're not going to spend as much time as in there that you would the other
Mhm.
lands.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but let's talk about let's talk
Let's
about
talk
the
about
ministry. You want to talk about
let's
the
talk about
ride
food
first?
first. Let's
Okay,
talk
or
about food
food.
first
Okay.
and then we will talk about because I feel like
Don't worry,
there's
I've got some stuff to help people out. But for food, there
Mm,
are a few different restaurants. So there's two main restaurants, a bar, and then a treat shop. So there's Café Le Air de la Sarine. I've said that about a million times, so now I can actually say it.
I was like, I'm so proud of you because I remember the first time you tried to say it to me, you were like, what is that?
I've eaten
that's where
there.
we had the butterbeer crepe, right?
Yes, so I've eaten there like 3 times now. It's so pretty in there. It's the same kind of thing where you wait for your table, mobile order, and do all that stuff, but it feels like a really classy, high-end restaurant just for how beautiful it is in there. They have mosaic all over the place, and they have fantastic beasts like in the artwork everywhere. There's big like wall to ceiling mirrors, so it makes the space just look massive. It's so pretty. And then the food there is going to be like French cuisine. Um, so
Like a French onion soup.
yeah, we had
We got desserts more than anything, didn't
well, so
everybody?
I've been there like 3 times, so
Okay.
I've had a
Say
few
the
different
one time you
things.
were with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did do like a meal there once. I got a baguette sandwich, which was turkey, apple, and brie cheese, which is like the perfect combination. Um, their Parmesan fries were actually my favorite part of that meal. Those Parmesan fries were so good. And then Mark Allen had gotten this like galette, which a galette is like a pastry that it's like a big, it's almost like if you were to take a puff pastry like pizza type thing and like fold it in, and then you have like your vegetable stuff in the middle. So it was like tomato and goat cheese and olives and onions and stuff. Not my flavor. I do not like onions or olives, but Mark Allen loved it. He was like one of his favorite things that he's had. So he keeps talking about it. But they do have this is a very wide gamut of food. So you've got that. The pastries, I'm not gonna lie, are kind of mid. Um, they're fine. They're not what I would go there for. I think the food is better. And then they do have a butterbeer crepe, which is like the
Delicious.
hot thing. It is a $20 crepe.
Whew.
I was a hater. I was like,
It's
there's no way that this
it's
isn't good.
large though. It's not small. And
It's
it's
really good. It's really
it's
good.
Is
delicious.
it really
It is
sweet?
very
Like that's my
sweet. It is very
I
okay.
didn't
sweet.
think
So
I was
it's
gonna like it, but
again, it's one of those things like I would not get it for myself as a single person eating it by myself. It is too sweet for that. But if you have your family and you're all like taking some bites of it, it's, I think, a really fun treat.
just kind of what we did. I think was it
Mhm.
Jess that ordered it and then
Yeah, and
it
then we
was
all kind
so
of were
sweet.
taking
We all
bites.
kind of tried it. Yeah.
They the whipped cream that's on top is the same topping that they use on butterbeer, and inside it's almost like a butterscotch pudding type cream stuff that's on the inside. So it is very sweet. They have some strawberries on there and it's very pretty and I enjoy it. It was a lot better than I thought that it would be, but it's definitely not like I could not eat a whole one by myself. Absolutely
No, I
not.
couldn't either. What was Kayla? Do you remember when I was telling you the restaurant that Chuck and I ate at was in the ministry?
Le Goblet Noir.
Thank you. Yeah, and we had
Mhm.
that was very good. I had goulash, and it was like traditional goulash, but the flavors were so good. Another chocolate cake that was really, really good. Um, so if you want something a little heartier, I would say.
That one's like German comfort food. So that area of the land, it's kind of like how Nocturne Alley to Diagon Alley. This area of that land is kind of like that for this one. It's Grindelwald's area, so it's German food. So or it's like German type food in there. So it's kind of cool because it's a little more creepy. Like it feels like you're in like a wine cellar kind of thing. It's kind of cool. But
Yeah, the
um
theming again, super immersive.
mhm,
I don't know. It just goes back to the theming and the food. It was yeah, something different, totally different.
yeah. And then if you want like a good strong drink, you can head over to the Moonshine Bar. What's really cool
Ooh,
is this is actually supposed to be themed to an American bar. So when you walk in, it'll be a bunch of like, there's these like flag pennants for like wizarding sports teams, but they're American. And so I thought that that was just kind of a fun little twist. It's super tiny, like it's literally just the bar counter. You don't go in and
yeah.
drink there. Like you go in, you order your
Okay.
drink, you get your drink, and you walk out.
You stroll around
Um,
Paris.
but the drinks there are very strong. Be warned. We got one called the Lobe Blaster, which is a mix of moonshine, limoncello, absinthe, and some other stuff that I don't remember. It is very strong. It's
Some other
cool.
stuff that I don't remember.
Yeah. So,
That's how good it was.
if you want some good strong drinks, there you go. They had a lot of stuff on there. They also had some non-alcoholic options too, which I
Hmm.
appreciated. There's
Hmm.
one I wish we would have gotten. It was like a Wizard's Brew or something. I don't know, but you put something in it and it turned sparkly and purple. And I was like, we should have got
Ooh.
that.
Maybe I'll try that because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to walk around if I get
Yeah.
moonshine.
And then they also have the sweet shop, which I think it's called Caramel. Well, I don't know if the sweet shop is called Caramel, but the all of the treats are Caramel. Um, and they're so cute. Like everything is so pretty. The packaging is just like I want everything just because of the packaging. Like really though, it's so pretty, but they also have like macarons and some like little treats and stuff in there
It's the
too.
theming and the packaging is beautiful.
It's
It
so
really
cool.
is.
Mark Allen got some coffee beans from there. And I am happy to report that it is very delicious. It's super
Good
good coffee,
coffee.
and we're very much like coffee snobs. He was very excited because they had like whole beans. He makes fancy coffee, so I was
Let's talk about the ride itself. Like, talk about the experience, and then we'll talk to people about how they can actually get to ride the ride. So,
I
what
cried. I
you both
cried.
have ridden it, right? Like,
Yes.
I've
And
seen videos of just like walking into the
oh,
first part of
Amy,
the queue, and it's
it's so
so
cool.
massive, and it looks like if you've ever seen movies of the Ministry of like the Harry Potter movies where they're in the Ministry of Magic, like
That part is cool. But when you get into like the hub of the ministry, you feel like you are in the movie. I
hmm,
mean, I got
yeah.
a little misty because, Harry Potter's a big part of our family. And just being there, I felt like I was in the movie. It was
hmm.
beautiful, but the lighting and the theming, the decor, the whole thing, it was just, we're not even
It
talking
was
about the
more than
ride.
magic. It's real, right? That's what we talked about in the last
Yes,
podcast.
Yes.
Um,
more than magic. It was
Yeah,
real.
we keep joking. I was
Yeah.
like, they didn't build a facade of the ministry, they built the ministry. So this attraction's called Battle at the Ministry. When you enter the attraction, because you're in 1920s Paris, right? Well, the ride takes place in like present day Harry Potter. So when you go through the Flu Network, which is how you get there, it's not just a Flu Network, it's a time turner too. And so you're traveling into the future to present day when Dolores Umbridge is on trial because she's a naughty wizard. That's kind of basically what the ride story is. But you walk in, you go through the Flu Network, which that was really cool. Like it's a very simple effect. I was curious to know how they would do it, but it's a really effective effect. And I think those are the best ones when it's just so simple that it just really works. It's very cool to watch. And then you turn the corner and you're right there, smack dab in the middle of the ministry. And this room, the scale of it, it's hard to explain just the absolute massive scale of it. Um, and even you're just looking at it with your eyeballs and you're like, how is that real? Wow. Like, it's so cool. And that's just the main atrium when you walk in. And then you actually start walking through the queue, and there's room after room after room after room of highly detailed theming that you feel like you're walking around the ministry. You feel like you could open up a door on the side and there would be a room in there. Um, I think I've heard that there's technically, like, this queue can technically hold up to like 7 hours of people. And I mean, I believe it. After walking through it, I'm like, yeah, I could see that. And then the ride itself is so fun. I will be super honest. I liked Monsters more than Ministry because how Monsters was like mostly practical effects with some screens. Battle at the Ministry is mostly screens with some practical sets. So that is something to be super aware of if screens do mess with you. I was okay on this one, but I know others in our party were not okay afterwards. So if you get motion
Yeah.
sick, like, just FYI.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Charles got so sick he ended up having to leave the park on that one. I am so glad that I did it. I will not ride it again just because of the sensitivity that I have to like spinning and the screens, but I would definitely try to get the queue to go in and see the queue again. To me, that was worth it.
Yes. And I kind of want to explain the ride system for this a little bit, just because I think people have had a hard time trying to understand, like, what is this ride? So I believe that this is a Kuka arm type ride system. So it's the same thing as Monsters, but instead of being in like a little harnessed seat, you're in an elevator car. So you feel like you're walking into Tower of Terror, but it doesn't move like Tower of Terror. It moves like a Kuka arm. A lot of people have said that it's very comparable to the Spider-Man ride, or something like, I would even say something maybe kind of like Transformers, where you kind of like, you like swoop into one room and then you see the scene, and then you swoop into the next room and then you see the scene. There's no like
Yeah.
drops. Like, it's more just like
But they're
you're
pretty
swooping.
significant. I mean, and they're pretty
Yes.
significant though. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're definitely like swooping, but it's not like a drop. You're not
Yeah.
in an elevator that you're
It's
gonna
almost
like,
like
so
to the
it's,
side.
yeah.
Instead of dropping down, it's almost like
Yes.
you're
And so
to the
you'll
side.
have these big, huge, massive sets. That again, it's mostly kind of screen to add some depth, and then you do have like some practical effects. Like, there are some really cool animatronics in there. Um, and like, it's kind of cool because there are places like you can't really tell where the screen ends and then the practical sets begin. I had heard one person say that the Bourne show at Universal Studios, that one walked so that this ride could run. And I would agree with that. It's a lot of similar technology, actually, like, where it's kind of that hyper realistic screen that you can't really tell what's screen and what's not screen. So I do think that even though it is a lot of screens, they did a very good job of it. So it is a really cool ride. My personal taste, I like Monsters a little better because it's just a little more practical set. So I didn't feel as.
Is it something you would ride again, though, Kayla?
I would ride it again, but I don't think that it's one that I personally feel like I'm going to stress my whole day about trying to get on. Because I think the queue, for me, I think the queue is a little more impressive because it's real.
The queue is why I would want people to get in to see it.
Let's talk about the fun elephant in the room, which, in order to ride this attraction at this point in time, please note that when we're recording this podcast episode, it is still during previews. We are assuming, nothing official has fully been announced, but we are assuming that when the park actually opens, that they will continue to use something called a virtual queue in order for you to be able to ride this attraction. This is the only attraction at this point in time that is requiring a virtual queue to ride. However, if you don't get the virtual queue, that means there's no standby line. There's also no express pass for this attraction, something important to know. So like, I know Amy, you guys went, you had express pass, which you were able to use on a lot of the attractions, but there is no express pass for Ministry. So can you guys explain the virtual queue a little bit more for us? And I know, Kayla, you've done it. So
She's the
like
pro
you
at it,
said, you
so
got
we'll
some
let her.
tips, like let's share this with our people so that they don't hopefully get too flustered.
Yeah, so the first thing that I want to say is I want to clear up some misconceptions about this virtual queue. I will agree. It has been incredibly frustrating because not a lot of people are able to get it. However, what I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize is that, especially right now during previews, that ride is not operating at full capacity all day. I know when we've gone, it didn't even open, like the ride itself did not open until later in the day because they were still doing some working and things on it. And so I think a lot of people are like, well, I came to this park and I paid this money and I'm not able to get this virtual queue. What the heck? People have to remember that this is a true lottery. There's only a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of people right now that are being able to even ride this attraction. So it makes sense that most people are not able to get it. So just know that right now going into it, it's not because Universal's tech is not great. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like the most amazing thing. I was like, but it's more so the fact that they're not allowing a lot of people in. That is why people are not able to get it, not because the app is not working. So I do want to clear that up. Now, all of that being said, um, the best tips that I can give for working on this virtual queue is um, there's two different ways that you can pull it up. One, you can go to your profile and oftentimes there will be the virtual queue option there. The other option is to search the ride on the map. Make sure you like pin it so that it's easy to get to and you can access it from there when you click on the ride. You are going to do this. It's a little bit different. Like if you're familiar with Disney's virtual queues, this one does work differently because you're selecting a time. You're not just like joining the line. So when you click on the virtual queue, you're going to have to type in how many people are in your party. And then,
Can I say something about that really quick? Because we were just there Monday, and I know that I was in line with people that said that their travel agent, and I'm not, could make the mistake. We could all make the mistake because I had also heard just try to get one and they will let you in. I just want to make sure everybody knows that now moving forward, because when we were there on Monday, it was absolutely, they will not allow you to have anything more than what you have your party for. So that was different from when we were just there the
yes.
last week to when Chuck and I were there on Monday.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, so definitely make sure you have the appropriate amount of people there. It'll be right at the top. It's very easy to do. And then below that, times will show up and you're going to immediately click on the time and then it'll either say, yes, you got it, or sorry, not available. Do not panic because that's not it. This is where you kind of got to gamify the whole thing, which this is the part that I understand is not the most fun. Um, don't back out. Don't back out and go back in, especially if you have a larger party, because then you have to spend time typing up all of those people. Instead, just toggle the amount of people back and forth. Now, obviously, make sure you're clicking on the time with the appropriate amount of people. But, like, so for example, we had 7 people in our party. I will toggle back down to 6 and then toggle back down to 7. And then I would click the time again. Toggle back down to 6, toggle back down to 7, click the time again. And you're going to keep doing that. And I know that that's like, I know that that sounds so stressful. It's pretty easy once you get in there, like to see what it is that exactly that you're doing. So don't like let that freak you out. Just know going into it that right now they're not at full capacity. So not everyone's getting to ride. And that is by design because they do not want people waiting in line for 7 hours and then not be able to ride because the ride breaks. They would rather have a smaller amount of people in there that they can, control that. So they are doing, I know it's not fun, but they are doing this for your benefit. So you're not wasting your entire day in a ride that is incredibly technically advanced. So it's understandable that they're still working out kinks. Eventually, this will go away. Eventually, they will be at full capacity. Eventually, that this will be a lot smoother thing. It's just, again, the park is new. This is a very advanced park. A lot of the technology is very new. So there are going to be some hiccups for a little while. So hopefully that helps. The other recommendation I would say is check back at some random times because sometimes they will open it up not during the normal drop times. And sometimes they don't even open it up at the drop time. They'll drop it like 45 seconds later or a couple minutes
Yes, or
early.
5 minutes later, or yeah.
Again, like
Mhm.
it is a little stinky because you got to be on your phone a little bit, but keep trying. You never know. I mean, we've been 3 times and we've only been able to get it once. So it's just truly like, it really is a true lottery. And I think if you go into it
And
knowing
again,
that,
you guys
set your
and you guys are going
expectations.
during preview time, so
Yes.
please note,
Yeah.
friends, like
Right.
hopefully
Yes.
those of you that are listening, you're going and the park is open. They're probably going to be operating the virtual queue at a higher capacity at that point in time than what they are during previews right now, because they're still literally doing work on the park. They have to have all of their team members practice things like evacuation drills and all this kind of stuff. So like they have to do that during quote unquote park hours. So that's part of what's happening during some of these preview times as well. So that's why, like Kayla was saying, right, they're operating it at such a smaller capacity than what it will be able to function at. And we're not saying that it's going to go straight up to full capacity as soon as the park opens on opening weekend. I'm sure that they'll slowly build it in. But just be aware of that. Like when you're watching people's reviews from previews of the virtual queue, that's a big piece of it. And let's call a spade. Okay, I don't like virtual queues. I don't do them. Like I don't do them at the other park down the road either. Like if I have an option to pay to skip the queue, then that's what I'm going to do. And I don't like virtual queues. So if you are in the same boat as me and you're like, "Hey, I don't want to be stuck on my phone." We've already told you Express Pass doesn't work on Battle of the Ministry. Your option is to do a VIP tour. We've done a podcast episode talking about VIP tours. We are happy to help you book your VIP tours. The non-private VIP tour, just so you know, that like schedule is always set by your guide based off of what the group wants to do. So it is not guaranteed that you would see any specific attraction if you're doing the non-private version. If you want like 100%, no doubt, as long as the ride's open, you're going to do Battle of the Ministry, then you need to book a private VIP tour for Epic.
Really, that's your only guarantee.
Like that's kind of like, as long as the ride is open, that's the only way to guarantee without having to be on your phone. So,
and also, if you are not able to get the virtual queue, they have been letting people into that first part of the queue to check out the atrium. So that big. So even if you're not able to get it, I highly recommend going and asking if you're able to do that, because that is worth it in and of itself.
Amy, are you excited to go to Epic?
I'm very nervous. Like it's the first time I think I saw 26 years, the first time in 26 years that a new theme park, like a whole theme park, has opened in Orlando. So getting to be there and being there during opening weekend, like, I'm gonna cry. Like,
and I said it before, but like huge thanks to our business development manager, who her name is Gail with Universal, and she's incredible, and she's been very kind and very good to Goofy Getaways from the time we opened the company to being U-Preferred, and she was amazing in getting us some previews. And I'm so excited that I get to bring Amy with me to our symposium, because we'll be there for the actual park opening. So I think that's really special. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you to see it too.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I know Kayla and I have missed you too, because we do a lot of these kind of things together. And I mean, I love obviously the time that I get with Kayla, but I'm so excited for you to see this park. And I think she is too. Like it's all that we keep talking about. So soon you'll be able to talk about all of it with us.
Exactly. Well, and I won't lie, I am not one of those people that like avoids the spoilers. I've been reading up on it. I have clients who were there very early on, and so it was like, okay, I've got to read all the different tips and tricks. And like the moment Kayla was in the park, I'm like, what do I need to know to tell my clients and all of these things. So, it makes it really exciting. And obviously nothing beats getting to actually be there in person, but I feel like I already know so much about the park that I'm hoping that it will help me feel like I can just enjoy it when I'm there, versus being like, because sometimes you walk into a new space and you're like, I don't know what's happening. And that's part of why we want to make these episodes for people too, for them to listen to some of these tips.
I have to say a huge thank you to Kayla for coming and doing, taking time to do 2 podcasts with us. But honestly, I think for my first experience going and be able to do that with her and Mark Allen, I was so prepared to go when I went with Chuck. Like it really made me even appreciate the park a little bit more. And I felt like, okay, I've got this. But like if I would have went in my first time by myself, I would have been able to navigate it. But having somebody that knew it and was as excited about it and honestly knows kind of the things that we like too. So making sure that we're hitting all of those things. So yeah, I mean, huge thanks to them because, Kayla and Mark Allen also have their own, handle on their own channel, but they're very good to Goofy Getaways. And I know that they, funnel clients to us, which we appreciate so much. And it's a really great, obviously friendship, but partnership when you have people that you can share some of the same fun things with that everybody likes to do. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was really fun to be able to do that with them too. So thank you for making time to come on and talk, because I feel like Kayla's like the knowledge behind a lot of it. I'll tell you about the fun, but if you really want to know, like, yeah, go ahead and ask Kayla. She'll give you the history.
I've been stoked about it. I'm like all about it. Well, and it back to what you were saying earlier, is like the first time we went, it was a team member preview. We have a friend who works at Universal that was very kind and took us. It was the day after the media event. So there had been no photos, no videos. People were not really supposed to talk about it. And so we went into that first day like completely blind, and it was definitely a lot. So hopefully this podcast was helpful to just at least give you a little bit of an idea to be prepared, because I think that being a little bit more prepared, I don't think you have to know everything. I don't think you have to know all the spoilers, but I think at least having a little bit of a game plan and a strategy and knowing what to look out for is going to make your day way more efficient and way more effective. But even with all that being said, I am still a firm believer that you need to give this park a couple days. Like, don't just do one day.
I would agree. To enjoy the entire thing.
Yeah. I think if you're somebody, you just want to go ride the rides and leave, great. But like, if you're going to miss a lot, you're going to miss a lot of things in this park. And I think that's where, if you can swing it, if you can do two full days to really give this park everything it has to offer, I think you're going to get so much more out of it.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm glad for the information that we were able to share about Ministry of Magic too, because I think it's super important for people who are Harry Potter fans to know that just because it's called, that's the name of the portal, it is actually not specific to Harry Potter. Like the ride is, but the actual land isn't. And so it made me appreciate it more going in knowing that than getting there and being like, what in the world's going on? I would have thought this was all the Ministry, but yeah, I can't say enough about it. I think it's a game changer just to have something new, and it's definitely going to extend your Universal stay. We have a lot of clients that love Universal, and having 4 parks now to be able to offer is pretty cool.
It's amazing. It's a full, like, y'all really need a week to go to Universal, because you need a couple days at the other parks. You can't skip Volcano Bay. Like, it's an amazing, amazing water park. We should probably do a podcast episode at some point about Volcano Bay. I love Volcano Bay. And like Kayla and I go and just hang out in the lazy rivers at Volcano Bay.
To do.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
But then obviously, and then you're going to need a couple days at Epic. So it's great. Universal has multiple hotels, lots of great options of where to stay. Definitely stay on Universal Orlando property if you're coming in for a vacation. It's going to be a much better experience for you. You can use the early entry. But we hope you enjoyed both of these podcast episodes about Epic. We could probably keep talking for another, 6 hours, but we won't do that to you all. But if you want to book your Epic vacation, Amy, what should they do?
Well, are we going to do our all-in first before we close
do.
out?
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot Amy's all-in.
I wasn't going to let you forget.
Okay, so Amy's All In, by the way, if you're new here, hi, we're the Amy's. Amy's All In is where we share something that we are all in about, usually related to the podcast topic. And so today, our All In is going to be, what is the number one thing on our must do, have to repeat whatever every time that we go to Epic that happens either in Celestial Park, the Ministry of Magic, or over at Dark Universe. So what is number one thing that you're have to do it when you're in one of those lands? Kayla, do you want to go first again?
Sure. I'm not gonna lie, it really is a tie. I really don't think I could choose one or over the other. And that I think is Stardust Racers and Monsters Unchained. I think those are my favorite rides in the park, period. They're just so good. They're just really good rides. And I think that they are a must, in my opinion. And I'm not a thrill
Excellent.
person, so that's like saying a lot.
Actually, that is right. That's for sure. And then my all in, I've thought a lot about this too, because this is a hard one to just narrow down, but I did actually narrow it down, follow the rules like once.
What?
I know, you're gonna fall over.
You all heard here right now.
That's right. Every once in a while, I surprise everybody. Mine is the show in Ministry Magic. I
Mhm.
think that show is so cool, and there's a lot of little surprises and just the immersion. That is something that I say is absolutely not to miss. Um, that was probably yeah,
You're
my
sure
one of
it's
my
not
most
Curse of the
favorite
Werewolf?
things. No, I'm so glad that I know that now because I'm not writing that ever again. But can I
Sorry, I
just say,
didn't mean
like,
to
for my
ruin it
all
for
into
you.
that, oh my God, I'm so glad you told me because I would have been like that. I was like, man, that didn't even do anything. What was that? Um,
Good.
but then I will say, being all in, just taking time through Celestial Park, especially with just the beauty of it. You don't think of it as like an actual land. Um, and there's so much to offer through there too. So that would, it's beautiful. But yeah, the show is definitely my all in for this one.
I love it. Okay, my all in is going to be trying the themed foods. Like, don't be scared just because, right? Like, again, the first time that I saw a photo of they look like lumps of coal, but they're supposed to be like those, jalapeno popper bites. I'm like, just embrace something and try something that's themed. I'm not saying that you have to try all of it, but like they have done such a good job in all of these areas with the different themed food. So if you're not a dark universe food person, great. Go do the butterbeer crepe or, go try the carrot hot dog. Truthfully, go try Pizza Moon. Like if you're like, I don't want to be too adventurous, but I want to try something themed, like, oh my gosh, go eat at Pizza Moon. But please, please, please go, like, don't just eat chicken fingers and fries. Go try something because they've really put a decent amount of effort into theming the food to make it fit. And it will just help enhance your experience when you're in the park. So
For sure.
like
Yeah,
that's my
sure.
all in is just try at least one themed food while you're there.
And they do have, when Kayla was
I'll eat as
talking about
many as
that
possible.
celestial drink, they had another drink too, in the Harry Potter restaurant. And it was like a
Oh, the
berry,
lavender lemonade? Or was
oh,
it the
I love a
tea?
lavender
The
lemonade.
tea that
No,
you
no, no.
got?
I love that. No, there was an actually in
No.
the soda machine. You know how you can get the celestial? It was like a berry, flavor.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to remember what that was. And yeah, I'll maybe even make a
I'll
little
test
post
it.
on.
Follow our social media accounts. Opening
Yeah, because it
weekend,
was
friends.
really
I'll go
good.
find it.
It was really good. Now we can say though, like if you are super excited about Epic, like we are, uh, please reach out to us at www.goofygetaways.com. That is our website where you can get all kinds of good information. Check out some agents, all of our agents, if you want to pick one for yourself, or if you're like, hey, they just seem like really cool people that we'd like to work with because they're super informative and they know their stuff, then we will pick someone out for you. You can also call our number, which is on the website, or of course, our social media, Facebook and Instagram, Goofy Getaways. Definitely check us out. We'd love to help you. We'd love to hear too. So give us some comments when you get to actually experience Epic because we want to hear what your thoughts are as well. So another huge thanks to Kayla for taking time to be
Yes.
on the podcast, and super excited to hear about everything you guys think about Epic. But until then, we will see ya.
Real soon.
If you liked today's episode of the Goofy Getaways podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to follow Goofy Getaways on social media so we can lead you to the magic.